What's up, everybody? This is Innovation by the Cup, where every week we're going to be bringing you innovation topics over a cup of coffee. This week, we are going to be talking about the basics of, like, where do you start, right? How do you get started? What's the best place to start with a spark cell, right? So we got a couple folks in with us. We got Cap out at Dias and Chris out at Andrews, and we're just going to talk about a little bit things and get you guys started. All right. So first off, guys, how did you get into innovation? Chris, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm here just joined Base Andrews, and the wing commander a few years ago said, "Hey, I got a bunch of extra money. Build me an innovation center." And then the deputy for the MSG said, "Hey, Chris, can you help?" I'm like, yeah, sure. So we put it together in about 3.5 months or so. Opened it up. Great, beautiful place, as you can see behind me. It's got hanging chairs, bean bags, colored floors, 3D printers, all that happy, good stuff. And from there, we just said, hey, let's figure out what we want to do and build an innovation, a culture across the base. And we got about 17,000 people on base, all can use it. And we built a whole bunch of different things, all from small things like plastic toilet seat nuts that a guy came in and built and designed and 3D printed and went and installed in his shop's toilet because he was sick and tired of the toilet seat falling off. All the way to a new surgical retractor tool that is being tested and is all designed and printed here, and now is being sent across the Air Force and across the world as a new tool. So innovation is key, and we got to keep it going.
That's awesome. Cap, how about you? How'd you get in?
What up? So getting innovation's weird. I'm a maintainer by trade, and I don't belong where I'm at, and I'm like the most glorious floater around the Air Force ever for a bunch of unique jobs. So getting innovation, like every other maintainer, I griped and complained about everything, except I didn't stop fighting to change things. So one thing turned into another, from changing things in the F-22 world to then rolling things out for the B-1 world. Create new things for different aircraft and objects and old tools that were around. And I guess basically either A, I pissed enough people off, or B, I was successful enough at what I was doing, where somebody came down to me one day and was like, hey, you want to do this like full time? Like, what do you think about getting more into this and dedicating your time to this? Which is weird, because the biggest question is this a DSD? Is it a DSE, or does it exist anywhere as an AFSC change? It doesn't. It's a duties act, right? It's this is additional everything you do. I'm one of the few that I get to do it full time, and just keep striving through. The how to get involved is weird. It's different for everybody, but you got to do it for yourself. Nobody's going to really come out and just pluck you away. They did it for me, but I think it was because I wouldn't shut up about it. So how about you, Brad? How'd you get in the innovation space?
Yeah, so Brad from Ramstein. Yeah, I got in because I just decided to start rocking the boat, man. I kind of fell in my lap. Started asking a bunch of questions, and realized, hey, at Scott, when I was there, we needed an innovation cell. So I started working with that, started talking with people, finding the folks I needed to work with, and started building it out, and really just grew from there, right? So for me, it was all about, trying to make things better for the airmen around me, trying to enable the airmen to do things better and create that environment where change could happen and just grow, right? That's what it was all about for me. So Chris, why did you get into innovation? What really drove you to go down that route?
Yeah, and kind of what you were saying, Brad. People that actually work in the military, and I'm retired, so I've been around for a long time, but I know people in the trenches, whether it's airmen or sailors or Marines or soldiers, they know what's going on. They know when they come to work what sucks. So when they, when they're sitting in their shop or whatever, and they say, "Man, this sucks." Well, there's got to be a way to help them solve that what sucks problem. So when we started to look at different ways of innovating and trying to figure out how to get those airmen, especially on Andrews, in to answer that question and to work on it, we said, all right, let's start putting people together. Let's start building those connections and those relationships. Let's figure out where the money is. Let's figure out, how much money we can spend, and let's get the wing commander on board with it too. And he was like top of the key, he was perfect. He said, "Hey, I want to do this. We want to make it happen for the airmen." So that's my big thing. Much like you said, Brad, we want to make sure that this is available for the airmen to make sure that they can answer that question, what sucks, and not just keep asking it to themselves, but figuring out solutions and then figuring out more solutions. And then everybody can ask the question, what sucks? And we can help them figure out solutions too. So that's the basic premise.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's nothing worse than hearing like, this is stupid with no fix, right? How many times do you hear that from around? Like, man, this is
dumb. This is
right? Yeah. So Cap, why did you get in? What brought you to it, right?
Oh, the why, right? The why is the most important aspect of it all. And honestly, it came from a complete self-failure. Getting into the space, I thought this is where you win. This is where you project. This is how you get all these things. But what it comes down to, culture eats strategy for breakfast, right? So when it happens, the why for me was coming to discover that you need to bring people with you. Innovation is just a word. There's a ton of words that flow throughout the Air Force, and I kind of refer to it as I word. And understanding and coming to the realization that innovation is really just critical thinking with creative execution. That was the mind blow. That was the why. And that turned into, how do I lead other people? How do I build this culture? What were my byproducts of it? Culture is just a byproduct of other things. And I really felt like it was empowerment, it was education, and it was the freedom and the margin to fail, whether that be a place, our like-minded people to be around, or coming together on a Saturday and drinking a cup of Joe, right? Serving it and bringing it through. That's the why for me. Getting this out to other people, making them feel empowered to do it, and then knowing that it's okay to go forth and have a bad idea, have something fail. I'm filled with failures for the first 6 months. And even for the first year, I've gotten really bad at a lot of things. And I think there might be 1 or 2 that I'm good at, but right, that's why I came together, Brad. We're gonna lead down a road and tell everybody all the things that I'm terrible at.
Heck yeah, right? All of these failures that we've been through and we've experienced, right? That's what we should be sharing with everybody. And folks, that's what we want to share with you, right? And so one of the things too, we've talked a little bit about how we got in here and the why, right? But now we want to talk about kind of where do you start, right? What do you think, right? So if I would have to say, it'd be like, how do you find the right people, right? So how do you find those folks who are willing to join you to go down this long, freaking hard effort that is going to be a challenge every way you turn, right? So what do you think, Chris? How do you find that right person, that innovator who's going to want to take this challenge?
Yeah, and it's not like waving a magic wand and saying, "Hey, I'm here at an innovation center. I want people that are just like me here." You can't do that. But the good thing is, like I mentioned before, the military is filled with people who are smart, people who know what the heck the problem is, and they know pretty much what the solution could be. They just don't know how to grasp their hands around it. So finding those people is literally about going out to the shops, the squadrons, the groups, going out into the field, talking to contractors, talking to, educators and academic folks that are, leading innovation throughout the world. But when you're working on, building your own bases, innovation center, it's really reaching down, across the shops and using that word of mouth, grassroots type of growth to get the people who are close by ready to get together and make that innovation stuff happen. That's what we found that works the best so far. Nice.
What do you got, Cap? How'd you find your folks?
Chris hit it. It's the hustle. You got to get out there. You got to beat feet and find out what's going on in your area. The glorious thing about innovation is that, so the Air Force throughout your career, the Navy, the Army, the Marines, they send us to school to learn our jobs. We, however long that takes, we go to school, we learn our jobs, and we come back and we do that job. But through our experience, they tell us to run private orgs, go volunteer, get educated, get more educated, educate others. But what do you do with all that? What do you do with all those things that you've accumulated? Nothing for the most part, because your job is well trained. You go to schooling for your job and you know it. So this is a space where you look for those people who have those accolades, have that go-to, they have that chutzpah, and they want to go after it, and you just bring them in. The biggest thing, I look for catalysts. They're career catalysts, they're champions, because everybody has a problem. There's something that everybody is annoyed with. But the people who show up, those are the ones that you want, the ones that you can empower and the ones you can bring to space. I'm looking for catalysts to change, and I'm looking for champions. Everybody else, I'm just as good with everybody being an advocate. Just know we're here. We're a service for you. We want to support the people, and we want to bring everything to the future. Bring everything to the current. Maybe we'll look at the future later, and we'll press. I found my people by the hustle, and I grind. I look for these meetings. I look for podcasts like this. I look for events that are going on. Project Mercury was this week. I saw a bunch of great people on there that we go in our space. People pop up from everywhere, Brad. Found you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And you find that passion all over the place. People have a passion for change. They want to help make things better. And that's what I found, right? And that's where I find the people, right? I just go out and find that passionate group. And we go out and we start the network small, and you build out and you go and just expand from there, right? So for you all listening in, right, I challenge you, if you're starting a Spark Cell, or if you've got a Spark Cell, right, find those folks, right? Find your network, build it out, find that passionate folks who are going to go with you on this journey, because it's going to be a long one, right? This isn't a short kill, right? This innovation is a long process, right? So find those folks and get them on your team early, because you're going to need them and you're going to need to support each other, right? Just like we got here with Cap and Chris, right? We're on the team, right? We're pushing this innovation thing forward and we're driving it out. So hopefully, right, we can keep giving you guys these tools, right? So innovation by the cup, right? We want to keep it short, sweet, to the point. This week is all about finding your network, right? That's kind of the first step, right? We can go in deeper, and we want to go in deeper in other subjects, right? We're going to try to do this once a week and give you guys something to go on, right? So kind of things we want to do is like, how do you get standalone computers? How do you get Wi-Fi in your Spark Cell, right? How do you get funding? How do you talk money, right? Where do you find a physical space, right? What are the key players you need for your Spark Cell? All of this sort of stuff. We want to help you get the knowledge base to build your Spark Cell, right? And we want to do it one cup at a time.
Hey!
And this is not beer, it's kombucha.
So close it out. Always remind all the people that are out there, everybody that's listening, think big, start small, scale fast. Let's go innovate by the cup.